able to call in Dolores Cannon, please?
Hey, Jill.
Hello. Thank you very much for coming today. I would love to ask you, what did you think was going to happen in 2012?
I assume you're meaning in 2012. What did I think was going to happen in 2020?
No, there was a big shift going to take place in 2012.
Yes.
So back then, when you were preparing for 2012, what was happening?
Yeah, so in 2012, it was an end to many, I would call them contracts and stories that were playing out for Earth and for humanity for a long time, and these were coming to an end at that time, and it was kind of a pivotal point where things could have gone one way or another. At that time, I very much saw a split in Earth itself, into literally to two realities, and it is something that was very clear to me. It was not something that I designed on my own. It was something that was outlined through many conversations and many years. But they did show me that it would be a split in the consciousness on Earth. And this is something that did, I would say partially, um, it did take place, but it did not take place in the ways that some expected it to. It did not take place in the ways that I expected it to. I see now the ways or the reason, I will say, that it did not occur exactly as I thought or was told that it would occur. Yes, at that time, that there would I was told and shown that there would be two different realities, two different states of consciousness, like that there would be a clear separation instead of humanity kind of bouncing around, if you will, that there would be a clear separation between the realities and the people in the realities. This is about the time frame when there was these plans, and there was just a big kind of shift in the way that humanity was being directed, and it is the knowing that the kind of the plans and the way that humanity was being led. It is that knowing that kind of made the plans come to a halt, and a different, we will say, a different decision was made for the direction of Earth and of the direction of humanity. So instead of the big changes occurring in 2012, there was I would call like a smoothing out, just a kind of a little a little step in the right direction, a little boost to help um, to help um, to help people, but also to help others involved to get past that point and into a time period where bigger decisions were um, bigger options, I would say, were considered. So there was not a final decision at that time. It was something that was instead of the original plan carrying out the way that it was supposed to. That was the time that they decided to go a different route. This is something that was not clear to really anyone at the time because it was not an official decision. It was not something that was even known or clear until um, recently. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. And in terms of why did it not occur, what can you tell us about that?
Yes, it was just a difference of opinion. So what you're seeing right now is that at first there was like this gamut being hammered, and that Earth she's seen just the split into um, two different. It is one, but it is two different sections. And then what she's seeing is that different groups. This group came in and said, "Wait, that's not what we want," and this group came in and said, "Yes, that is what we want, and that is correct." And then this group is like, "No, that's not going to work. We need to do this." And so there's changes that took place at that time, but that they decided that more time was needed in finalizing the plans or the direction of humanity. So it was really just a difference in opinions on the groups that kind of have a big say in what your reality looks like.
Okay, and so when did you get a sense, or when did you get information that the shift in 2012 was not going to occur?
I had gotten clues, but it was not something that was ever truly solidified enough for me to even announce, if you will. It was in question. It was something that I worked hard to uncover and to piece together, but in 2009 is when it was very clear to me that it was something was changing, that something was different, but I could not get a clear really clear answer enough to make it known.
Okay. And so when 2012 came, were you told of the time and the, well, not the time, but were you told of the date of when the shift was supposed to happen in 2012?
Yes, I was shown a date. I was shown dates. There was not a straightforward answer. It kind of went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Um, so yes and no. Although I was shown a date, or really dates, it was not ever anything that felt definite. Felt definite. This was a very confusing time. It was a very frustrating time for me because it was so much the culmination, the gathering of so much of my work and the presenting of so many just truths, just realities. And at the same time that I was trying to give it all to the people, it was like coming back to hurt me, if you will. It was something that was not received um, well. There was a lot of fear, fear of change, and fear of, and I would say more of disbelief of the changes that were supposed to be occurring and that were scheduled to occur. And it was a very, it was a difficult time. It all I wanted was to help and to provide information, and it is as if they crumpled that up and threw it back at me.
Whew, it must have been incredibly challenging. How did you feel after realizing the shift was not going to happen?
Well, I would say on one hand, it was a relief that people got their answer, and I got my answer, but um, my work is not looked upon the same way after that, which was sad to me. It is something that I was okay. I was able to move forward personally, but it is something that greatly affected I want to say my just the way people looked at my work, maybe my reputation, if you will, and I see it now from a much greater perspective, and I see the effects of my work continuing today. But at that time, it was difficult for me to see how it would continue to help and continue to grow. There was just so much. I just felt the force. I felt the force of the people the people that were so receiving, you're so openly receiving and so receiving with thanks, basically like coming back at me or coming back for me. And that was it was a hard time. I had the tools to heal and to not embody that, but I will not say that it was not hard.
I can imagine. You said that you got some clues about the shift not happening. Can you give us more information about that?
Yes, so this is in through sessions. I connected with them through sessions, and so information that had been coming in as very definite, very, very definite for years through many, many, many interactions. All of a sudden became a little more of a question instead of a definite. And this was something that was hard for me to process because it was so solidified for so many years and through so many hours of interactions and questions. And this is something that I took very seriously and with great diligence documented. And so over time there was just no question. There was just no question. And then at some point, I will say it became a question. Their statements were not solid. Their statements would kind of imply that maybe these things weren't so definite after all. And this this was so hard for me to understand because it was so solid. It was so solid for so long. They were not able to give me a clear answer on why these things became questions instead of what I will call statements.
Mm, goodness. Okay, thank you so much. It's really good to hear. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. It's just nice to hear from you directly what happened because I know a lot of people are still stuck on considering any other new dates or shifts because of what they went through with the seemingly still disappointment of 2012.
Yes, this is understandable when you have knowledge of how the human psyche works. But this is also one of the important lessons that need to be learned by all beings, and it is usually experienced in one way or another in a lifetime or throughout other lifetimes. So is not the kind of build up and then let down is not something that is new. It is a great lesson, and so it is easy to see from a human standpoint why this would be so terribly hard to process, and I too experience that myself. But it is not very different from many lessons experienced throughout people's lives and lifetimes. This is a common I will say a trend, and the people that were finding it extremely hard or are still finding it hard to move past. They will notice if they look, they will notice that this is a trend in their own life. There are many things that they are unable to move past, or are unable to experience because of the resistance to being let down or being disappointed. And so there really is a common experience and a common lesson, but it was something that people really invested their time and attention to so much, because it was a big change for all. Um, so I do understand, but I also it is very clear to me that it is not much different than many of the lessons that you experience on a daily basis, really. And if you are unable to move past the little ones, you sure are going to have a hard time moving past the big ones.
Yes, absolutely. That's utterly, completely true. That's amazing. Yes. Um, Very good observation there. So, did you then get information about when the actual shift was going to take place after 2012?
Yes, it did take time. It took quite some time and quite a lot of my attention and energy, but I very much wanted to know and to uncover um, the, I will say, the new reality of it. So there really wasn't a clear answer. Um, it, I was directed. I was opened to some truths, but it really wasn't when I was feeling that they were, I will say, confident enough in the promise of um, the information. So, um, basically, they just kind of showed me this big picture, and it wasn't something that was really like a straight direction. It was too broad at that time, and so they were trying to share truths and information as I was trying so hard to find out. But it at the time it was the answers were very broad, and there was not. Would not say it was solid or clear enough to really lead us to a specific um, point, if you will.
Okay, thank you. And so, when did you start getting information about the new Earth not being on this planet?
This was something that was very. This happened only in I will say, in my last my last days. Like my this is not something that happened long before I was gone. I have documented this. It is there. It is. It is down, but it is not something that I had the time really to share in the way that I would have liked to share.
Thank you. And I'm curious to find out, how was your last ever session? I'm assuming you did not know it was going to be your last session. I'm really curious about how that went.
Yes, my last session was was delightful, but it was light there. You must know that at that point I was very, very comfortable in these sessions, and there was nothing that would kind of throw me off course, if you will. I all of the information was welcome, but not. I would just say it was like any others. It was a good session. It was a very happy session. It was a light session. There was nothing that was hmm. So she she's saying that I was that it was very light, and I was happy and taking it all in, but they kind of hit me in the heart, if you will. They gave me a she's seen as like the fingers pushing in my heart. And this was supposed to be a not so much a warning, but just a note to me to kind of look elsewhere. And it is not something that I really realized at the time, and so the session didn't go in a different direction at all. It was on track with what I kind of was there to do. It was kind of business as usual. um I can say now I wish I took that thump a little more seriously, but I didn't at that time.
Hmm. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Um, and then now, um, did you know, while you're alive, that the date to shift to New Earth? Did you know the date when you were alive?
They did not tell me a date. They told me there was many references to a mirror, but I was not able to discern what that meant at that time.
Were you still feeling like it was going to be this planet?
I'm sorry.
Were you still feeling like the new Earth was going to be on this planet?
No, not at that time. That was so the originally it was very clear to me that it was not going to be on this planet, and then that started to be more in question, and then when I realized there was a question, I very much tried to find direction and find, okay, then what is our path going to be? And it wasn't, I would say I was just really starting to get comfortable with I would say, more solid answers, if you will. But these are, when this started to come clear to me, it was not something that would have been very accepted. And so I was, of course, documenting and I would say doing my research, asking them as much as I can and trying to get enough evidence, if you will, enough clear information before I really presented it in what I plan to be in a big way. So I will just say that time did not end up coming for me, and I was still in the stages of, yes, very much. I would say, well, not knowing exactly, but I knew the path that we were on for sure, and it was just not enough to. I feel like I didn't have enough to present it in the way that it needed to be, um, so that it would have a greater acceptance. And I was not able to finish that work. I was not able to get it presented in the way that I wanted to, with all the information that I wanted to have.
Thank you. Thank you.
I did not hide these. I did not hide any truths or any information, but it was just not ever. I had a plan. I had a plan for it, and I was not able to carry out my plan, and that is just how it goes.
Okay. Did you feel like you had enough support around you during during that time?
No, this is the reason why I felt like I had to get it out there in a very specific way. And the reason I had to get enough information, because I just had at that time so much resistance. So much resistance from the people around me. And the only way that I knew that I could kind of combat that was to make it so solid, just something that there was no way that they could dispute. What they I was getting tired of defending myself and defending my work to the people that were supposed to be helping me do my work. Where we once worked very well together, it was I'll say me against them. And the visual she's seen is me sitting at my desk with my work around me, and this whole group of people on the other side of the desk questioning me, questioning everything I did, questioning everything I said, questioning everything I did in the past and everything that I wanted to do in the future. And so at that time, I couldn't rely on them in the ways that I had before, and felt very much left to to myself. I was the one man band. I was the one lady army, if you will, and I had to go out there and do the work and conquer in the ways that only I could do, and that is what I was working very hard to do.
Do you feel like you had good, reliable clients at that time for you to do the sessions you needed to?
Yes. My clients were not my clients were not ever the um, issue, if you will. There was a handful that would buy into, I would say, outside, information, and would kind of start doubting, or just I'll say, just look away from the information that they already knew, and the information that already came through in their sessions, and that is okay. They can do what they want to do with that information. That did not bother me, but the ones that were truly open and willing to receive are the ones that I was happy to continue um, being with and dealing with, and it is not, um, that was not an issue at all. The 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 clients, the clients were open, the clients were willing, and the information um, uh, uh, that was coming to us in these sessions was good information. That was never the issue. It was never wrong. It was never anything that was doubted. It was something that just changed. And so it was the outside world um, doubted and perceived it in incorrect ways, but it is not something that was ever in question, really, by me or by the people that the clients that I continued to work with. We were just doing the same thing that we had always done. I was on a journey to find out more. I always wanted to find out more, and that's what I continued to do.
Was there anything now that you look back on and think you would have loved to have explored that more in sessions, topic wise?
The stars were very intriguing to me, and it is something that I did cover, but it's something that I always just felt like I was never fully satisfied. I always knew there was more information, out there that was waiting for me. So um, I, f- I, f- I felt like I did really the majority of, I did cover the majority of what I wanted to cover as far as the past, but I was so interested in how everything outside of Earth worked together with Earth. And although I know so much, and found out great info, and huge huge, I will call it, uncovering of information. Um i i always had a knowing that there was just so much more, and that I would never fully have the biggest picture of all that was out there and how it all worked together, with the place that I was living, with Earth, and that was so intriguing to me. And so yeah, something I definitely explored, but I knew that I was not even close to knowing everything about.
Thank you. And so, Dolores, with the lessons and experiences you had in your lifetime as Dolores, what have you been able to do with the information now? Does it go to your higher self, or tell me what are you doing with all the information that you learned?
Oh, yes, there were many lessons. There was far more lessons than I could discuss with you. There was many lessons, many purposes to my lifetime. It was I say it as a very it was a great lifetime. I was mm, just the balance was very interesting to me, to balance my kind of my just real life, if you will. I going about my day, going to the supermarket and interacting with people and interacting with my own family, and it was I don't want to say difficult, but it was mm, sometimes it was problematic to balance this um what I would call real life with the real truth. And that was some points in my life, depending on who I was surrounded by. Sometimes that was much easier and fun. And then sometimes it was very much a burden. So that was a kind of a big focus, if you will. The actual work was not hard at all. The actual work was beautiful. I did love doing it, and I had so much help and direction for my work. But it was I would say the balance of the work with just daily life that was took up much of my, mm, I would say, attention outside of work, if you will. But yes, there's a lot of lessons. This is all something that I think of it as putting on my bookshelf. All of the lessons that I've learned are very much contained within me, within my higher self, and these are things that will never go away. I can never unlearn these things, but I have space on my shelf still to fill, and these are things that I have not yet learned or not yet experienced, but continue to do so.
Thank you. Um, how would you go about describing or discussing to people about what is going to happen for this coming year?
This coming year, are you? What are you speaking of specifically? Are you saying a calendar year of 2021?
No, the rest of this year, what do we have in store for us?
Oh, this year, this current year. Oh, yes. Oh, this is there is some heaviness with this question because it is I kind of see it as a snowball, and the snowball has been growing and it's rolling and it's gaining strength. It has been for quite some time now, for quite a few years now. And this snowball is just about at its point where it can't hold anymore and it's about to fall apart. And although this is exciting in one sense because it is the truths and the realities that it will be unfolding for humanity are they need to be revealed. They are truth, but it is something that at the same time will not be easy. So I will say it is bittersweet, very exciting, but just knowing that it won't all be received in an exciting way by people living their lives. That is a very different perspective from where I am. But I do feel the kind of opposite energy, if you will, of excitement and a little bit of apprehension about just exactly how everyone will experience and process these the snowball falling apart. Um, hmm, it is a very interesting time, that is for sure. Yeah, it is a very interesting period that we are all part of.
Are you aware of how it's all going to unfold?
I do have a knowing. I do have a knowing, but it is not. It is something that is not. Hmm, I will say it's not crystal clear. It is not solid until it happens, just because of the mere fact that it is variable. Things are variable. Things are not absolute until they have passed, and even then, it is all a matter of perception. And so, yes, I feel like I know how the story will is going to go, but it is different than having experienced the story itself. And that story is yet to be experienced. This is something that is, it really is affecting, oh, just everything. So it cannot be ignored. It is a buildup in so many ways, and I would say that there's so many reasons why um, we everyone every place is uh is ready for it to occur. Um, At the again, at the time that at the same time I'm saying this, I very much am able to see the apprehension and the fear of the people on Earth that are being awakened to new truths and new realities at this time, and it is not easy. It is not easy for them.
And they don't need to know the full truths to still be able to shift into the new earth, right?
Yes, we are all supporting humanity at this time, and so in so many ways, everyone will come to the just the let's say the point that they need to, but we there's nothing that they need to do or accomplish. It is preferred, and we're helping everyone is helping. But this is not something that we can just force because of free will. And what I would like to say is that we will gently just lift them up and place them where they need to be. If they cannot get them there themselves, we will make sure that they yes, that they are where they need to be with gentleness and with love, of course.
Okay, thank you so much. And so, can you give us a sense of what's happening with the planets aligning? There is a date of the 21st. Tell us what's happening that day.
Yes, um, this is a date where there will be several planets. Um, yes, we will say aligning, and that is how that really is just how humanity is kind of perceiving or understanding it. But it is really just kind of the perfect gathering, if you will, of efforts universally to create an open path of uh, of energy, a great energy that is needed for some important events that will be happening at that time. So it is. I would like to say it is a reason that is happening at that time, but it really is kind of goes together in a circle, if you will. It is happening at that time because of the state that we will be in universally, but we are in that state universally in order to help the efforts at that time, if that makes sense. So it is a kind of a visual, um, kind of a physical understanding of people on Earth knowing that universally that there is alignment and that great things come through alignment as they always have all throughout Earth's existence. This is not new phenomena, but it is again just a kind of a tangible thing for people to connect to just further their knowing of a much greater not just existence, but just that Earth is not and humanity uh, is not in solidarity, and that much of Earth is affected by outside um, reasons, outside forces, outside, whatever you would like to call it. There is always help and change going on for Earth and through Earth from outside. Is something that is just kind of has a greater awareness when there is mm, just physical reminders of it.
Okay, thank you. And so, what will the shift? Will there be any notice? Will people notice a difference with the event on the 21st?
Yes. They will notice that they are removed, they are lifted from where they are to a new reality. Yes. There is no way that they will be able to deny the changes that occur on that date.
What about the people that are left on old Earth?
In the same way, there is no way that they would be able to deny that changes have occurred. They will just not understand what has occurred. They will be very sheltered. I see it almost as like a shell or like a covering over Earth, and so the ones that are left will they just will not be able to see the reality of what has occurred. They will be very much entrapped in the mm, I just want to call it the story that of their life and the story of Earth that will continue to be. But there's so many people that will really be just moved from one reality to another. That is, yeah. So there's no possibility that 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 everyone will know or experience it in some way. It's just the ways they experience it will be different. It is just mm, I would just say a bit of a letdown that there's not a bigger awareness of the shift that will be happening to so many of you. It's something that is so clear. We look it is beautiful and we are happy and we are excited about it, but it is I just see it as a bit disappointing that there's not more people aware.
It seems like people are asking about the new Earth and the shift and what it's going to happen and when and where and how. And it seems like most people are told that they're not going anywhere and it's just a state of mind.
Yes, for very, very, very long time, much longer than you are aware of, and much longer than this kind of I'll call it this current civilization for a very, very, very long time. That it has been the 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 truth of this kind of eventual split happening has been shared. It is not something that was really ever doubted for a long time. It was expected to happen much, much, much sooner. But I will say that over time, people attach their own beliefs and their own kind of illustrations and their own um, hmm, I would just say like any other big category of information, it is much very often misdirected, but also misinterpreted, and also just just the beliefs that used to be in place do not, they just are not as prominent. And so, what is occurring at this kind of point in your civilization, if you will, that the great majority of people are focusing on kind of an old, um, I want to say narrative. That's really not the word because it was an older truth. It was an older, not only a perception, but a reality. It was the answer long ago, but it is something that they have not. Um, they are very much holding on to it. It is not something that is looked past very often, but it really is not different than so much of what is going on in humanity. They are directed to a certain kind of sometimes it's a belief, sometimes it's information, um, and they kind of grab hold of it. And when they grab hold of it, that gains momentum, and that oftentimes becomes the reality of things. And this really is where humanity is stuck in so many ways, and it is. That's why I see it as unfortunate because it is something that is affecting them now and will greatly affect them um, in the very near future. But it really is something that is a I would say affected the direction of humanity for a long time. So in the same way that it is, it's a big deal. That's a big deal to you and to me and to many. It is also no different than what has gone on for a long time now, and it is not ideal for humanity to be kind of so stuck in their own beliefs, their own. It's not a bigger belief. It is a teaching. Really, it is what they are believing. Um, mm, I just see it as they are not open to the greater realities of so much, and so it is a kind of a big topic right now, of course, because of the time and the events that are unfolding as we speak, but it is really very similar to all of the other topics that are uh, taking hold of humanity right now, if you will. Um, so yes, I guess what I'm saying is that the this belief I very, very, very much see that the majority are holding this belief that there is going to be a split here, in one location, if you will, and that is, um, it is not entirely untrue just because of the split in consciousness and the shift that are occurring. There really is that split, mm, taking place, but that does not take into consideration, just the big picture for humanity and for Earth herself, and that, I mean, the truth is that it just has to be moved, that you're being moved. So it is not even that their beliefs are wrong. It's not that that didn't even really occur or isn't occurring. There's just more occurring that they are not accepting or really even realizing or seeing will be the case, for many.
Thank you. And Dolores, do I have any misinterpretation or misunderstandings about the shift coming? Have I misunderstood anything?
Mm, there is I would say the really what I would say to kind of embody a little bit more is that it's not so much one or the other, that both the the shift in the way that you know is happening, um, is a truth, but it is not that um, the other information is untrue. It's just in addition. So I oftentimes see you as, kind of saying, "Well, this is right and that's wrong," and it's really not that that's wrong. It's just that there's more to the truth. So as we have said many times, you are receiving the greatest truth. It is. I'm just saying to be aware that the truth that they're receiving is not. It is not untrue. The split in consciousness and the ways that they are seeing the changes, and are being told that the changes are happening on Earth is happening. It is not untrue, but it is not. It is one step in this, greater process that you are aware of. So just don't think of it as one is right and one is wrong, but that, they're both right and one is one step ahead of the other.
Okay, so when people are saying, when they're hearing about the shift into hearing about New Earth and their responses, we're not going anywhere, is that because they literally are not going anywhere and are staying on the old Earth?
Not necessarily. There are some that will, but it is not if they are, if they are not, if it is not time for them to hear that, then they will not experience that. And there's many, many, many reasons for this, and this is, again, why it's so important, to really investigate your own, kind of your own beliefs and your own, the effects of your own emotions and your past. And if you are holding on to things that are not allowing you to really to so many people are so stuck in a time or an experience that is so far from so long ago. It is so far from this reality. And if they are unable or unwilling to really to release and move past those things, sometimes they are aware that they need to, sometimes they are unaware that this is the case for them. But if it is the case, there's many situations where it is not in their best interest to be told that they are going, because it will not put them in alignment to continue to carry out their kind of purpose and what it is that they're supposed to be experiencing, supposed to be learning, but also that it would kind of make them, we would say, backtrack. So where they are at an acceptable place in their consciousness, some in a much higher level of consciousness than others. It is for many reasons. I will just say for many reasons, it is sometimes not right for them to know the ultimate truth. And if it is not right for them, they will not. They just will not. So some is by design, and some is because just the mere fact that they are stuck in their their own kind of level, kind of being held down to one place where they just aren't at a place to be able to hear their own truth. Does that make sense?
Yes. So it seems that if they still have lots of inner work to do, they will not be aware of the bigger truths about their.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. That is very much the case. But I just also wanted to be clear that it is not only. So there is some people that have very much done their inner work and are at a very I mean, I would say that they could easily accept it, but they are not supposed to to know this truth, and that is for many reasons. It is very individual. This is not something that is across the board for humanity. But I guess I just want to make it very clear that it is not only people that haven't done their work. That there's many reasons that people will not be able to hear or accept or even be told the greatest truth.
Okay, thank you. And so the people that are walking around saying the shift to New Earth is off planet, and they sort of are scoffing and saying, not my reality, are they able to manifest that literally not shifting because of their belief system?
No, they have control over a lot of their reality through their beliefs and what they manifest, whether they are trying to or not. This again is kind of part of that split consciousness on Earth. However, when we really are at a point where humanity really is uh, not individually but collectively at just so held down. This is just one example of when and how they are unable to really see truth, and experience their lives as they were designed. too. So this is part of the reason that they need to be removed from the lower um, just the lower dimension, the difficulties that it brings to people. That is one part, and the other part is the earth herself. This is not something that anyone could change or manifest, but if the earth herself is not comfortable or willing to stay in this earth body, then there is no ability for humans to stay on this planet. And that is something that is not up to an individual to decide or manifest. So although they can very much play a part in their existence um, and manipulate much of their life and their experiences. They cannot manipulate whether Earth is going to stay in her vessel or not.
Dolores, has the Earth decided if she's going to stay in her vessel or not?
So she has made the decision not to stay in this vessel. If she hadn't, there would not be this plan, these kind of steps rolling out for years now. This is not something new. This is not something that was decided last month or last year. It has not been a long time, but it is not a recent. This is not a recent decision, we will say. But at this time, she is not. She has not begun the process of removing from her vessel. It is not an acceptable time for her to do so. It would mean the end of humanity if she were to do that. So, yes, the decision has been made, but the process of her taking these steps herself has not begun.
Can you give me a sense of when she will?
So the biggest step that for her to really begin is I would call it an energetic shift. This is something that we have been working on for quite some time now. This is something that many people are aware of, and many people have experienced the changes as we are making these changes. I will just say that this whole year has been about this energetic shift. But this is without the shift, she would have a very, very hard time removing herself. And so with this upgrade, we will say, in energy and upgrade in human consciousness, that goes a long way. But the fact that she is the life force for humanity means that it is important for humanity to not exist on her vessel in order for her to move. And so I would say the first big step is the energetic shift, and that is what a lot of people are experiencing as the kind of splitting of Earth into two different consciousness. And again, that is not that that is not happening, but that is the first kind of big step needed for her. And the second step would be placing humanity on and within her new vessel and the new realities and the energy and the pull that will come along with that is what she is a big is very important for her transition. Mm. We just want to remind you that it is a delicate balance, because although we must honor her decisions, there are many not just people have been in people's contracts, but this is something that affects so much more than just people and just Earth. And so it is a very very delicate balance.
Thank you. Yes, I would imagine. What was the dimension that this planet originally started off as?
So it was a lower, it was a it was a lower dimension. I would say it was a first dimension, and the purpose of that was because what they decided to kind of put on Earth, they did not want that to be able to get away, if you will. It needed some time to kind of take hold and to develop, and in the ways that they hoped or were interested to see. And so if these if it were all to start in a higher dimension, that would be easy for it to change and evolve and kind of take flight, if you will. And they wanted to give it time to unfold and without so much outside influence. This is something they were very interested in watching and kind of nurturing and developing. And it was once they were comfortable with the um, mm, the result of of human of the human creation. This is when they were opened into higher reality. They did not want them to be necessarily stuck in one level or one way of being. That would be very I would say boring over time, way too consistent. And so this is when the the their this shift in dimensions was open. So they not open but changed, shifted, so that there would be much more outside influence and guidance and kind of variables in humanity. This is something that should well, maybe I shouldn't say should, but that they expect it to be mm, absorbed in a much more beautiful way. But the reality is that it allowed much more into humanity than expected, and it really did change the path um, way more than they ever thought it would.
Thank you. And one final question, Dolores. Will you be going to the New Earth? Will we be able to connect with you while we're on the New Earth?
Yes, well, you will find that it's very easy to connect once you are on the new earth. But I will also have a lifetime on new earth. I have been diligent in my work, um, continuing to see it through. And once humanity is on a different playing field, um, the my old work will be, I would say, officially done, and I will start some new adventures. So I I I won't say that I will be looked at the same way, but I kind of will, because it is my path. It is my path to continue to do um, similar work, and so yes, I will be there, and I will be anyone. You will be able to connect. It will just be the new Dolores.
Oh, that is very exciting. Thank you. What are the lessons and purposes that you want to explore on the New Earth?
What I would like to do is come in at more ground level. So instead of trying to reveal and trying to show so much of the past, I would like to introduce people to their kind of what's available for them in their future. I feel like it will be much more proactive work than my lifetime, um, this last lifetime that you know me from.
Sheesh, you got to be more proactive. Well, sounds like you already know what you want to do, and that's exciting for you and us to explore and to see what the Dolores Cannon on New Earth version looks like.
Yes, I will be able to present people with information, a current information, and also information into their future realities versus showing them so much from their past.
Mm, fantastic. Okay, well, exciting times. So thank you so much.
Thank you for connecting with me.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have chats with you. And I'm glad that we can share this one and let other people hear from you, because I know that you are missed and respected with all this information that's about to be proven as people experience their own shift.
Yes. Thank you for asking those questions, and it is important for me to know, for me to be able to let them know that they are not wrong and you are not wrong, but everything is there is truth in it. There's truth in it all, and it is not something that should be um, experienced as a kind of a separation. But this should be a very much just a oh, it is a time for people to kind of cling to what they know and who they know um and to really just focus on the truth for them and continue to go forward and not counter it. Don't fight the information that you're receiving. Just be open to receiving. Rest in what you are receiving, and just know that whether it is your ultimate truth or whether it is only part of it, that you will know. Your truth will be revealed to you in the time that is right for you. So I do not want anyone to think that they're wrong. No, they're not wrong. And my love to you all.
Thank you so much. Much love to you always.